Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn. Senator, it's just, and I know a lot of folks mentioned COVID and folks and kids being out of school, which, by the way, you were so adamant at the time about the damage it was going to do. But this is also a long-term trend that's been happening far too frequently, and I'm concerned that we're so far behind. Can we even catch up?
We can catch up, and school choice in our states is something that is going to help these children catch up. Here's what we have learned is that because of COVID and being out of the classroom, many children never learned how to study, how to process information, how to collaborate with their colleagues and do that peer-to-peer coaching that many times students will do with one another because they missed that in that COVID period. We also know that during COVID, so many parents began to figure out that what their child was being taught had nothing to do with reading, writing, and arithmetic. And as we have seen, our students have continued to fall behind in educational attainment when you look at it on a global basis. And my hope is with returning education to the states and to the local school boards that you are going to see more parent participation. You are going to see a more site-based decision making, and you are going to see scores go up, and our students will return to learning how to be a lifelong learner.
You know, there was a report out that New York City teachers, the teachers union received in New York City $22 million in taxpayer funds. You know, we know that these unions have put themselves above students, and really I feel like it's the union leaders, right? Because I've been involved with schools and I meet a lot of teachers, particularly young teachers, and they'll do anything for these students. But it's clear that the administrative state has taken over and they're gobbling up all the money. How do we break the way that they've taken all the cash? We put out a lot of money for these kids, but it's not going to their education.
You're exactly right, and you're right to mention the union leadership. There are some wonderful teachers, and I am so grateful for wonderful classroom teachers that inspire children every single day. When you look at the impact that the teachers union has had, it's not about the child. It is more often about the benefit package that they are going to receive in that current negotiation. Many times the union takes funds that are basically state or federal dollars and they use those to lobby. I have legislation that would eliminate the ability of these employee unions to use taxpayer funds to lobby Congress to get what they're wanting. This should be all about the child.
Yeah.
And that is why having this money, having the education responsibility go back to your state and local school boards will be a game changer when you look at the academic health of our children.
Yeah, by the way, speaking of teachers, I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Flood and Mr. Austin, two of my favorites growing up. They're so important. All you need is 2 or 3 really great ones that just keep you going in the right direction. So there's some obviously pushback. Hey, you know, how can we get rid of the Department of Education? How would it work mechanically? Where does the money come from? And of course, there's also the pushback on DEI programs within schools. And you know, so for people who are concerned, parents who are concerned about no funding out there, how does it mechanically, how would it work?
And what you would see is block grants going back to the states. That's a good thing because you return those dollars to the taxpayer, to those communities, to those school boards where parents and individuals in that community can have more of an impact. Also, what you will do is spur innovation as these schools and communities look for relationships and partnerships when it comes to STEM and education for STEM programs and robotics and things of that nature, which brings that spirit of entrepreneurship into these schools. That is something that is going to teach these kids how to dream big dreams and then give them the skills that they need to make those dreams come true. That is a very good thing. So doing these block grants, testing children less, not more, spending more days in actual instruction for the children. And this is going to require some of those teachers to write new lessons plans. Maybe they've been working off the same set of lesson plans for the last 20 years. And Charles, you have done a lot of work with inspiring young people. And you know that there are things you can bring forward to them that they get really excited about.
Absolutely.
And to be able to push that for them, how incredibly important, and to spur them in all of your sciences and math and different subject areas so that they can begin to innovate and learn how they learn and build out a broader resume for themselves during those high school years so that when they go to college, they are more focused on getting into a career and then finding a way to excel in that career.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. You've always been one of my favorites. Senator Blackburn, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Delighted to join you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right.